Hi folks, Cam Hawkins here from Trading Up Podcast. I'm going to walk you through something today that I've come up with. I built it in the last few days, and it's a semi-automated system. That sort of, well, it's not really a system. It's a semi-automated tool that helps me. Well, it's not semi-automated. Is it semi? Yeah, semi-auto. It's a fully automated tool. It's a semi-automated. It's giving me the ability to have a semi-automated system, which is putting a lot of discipline around what I'm trying to do as a trader. So if you're one of these guys who has a great run and everything's going really well, then all of a sudden you fall off the rails and you start doing stupid things, then this type of approach might be something that you want to think about. I've just started doing it and I'm really, really liking the look of how it's going to work. I made it not just so that it keeps me disciplined, but also so it really simplifies my trading, gives me a lot less time in front of the charts waiting for setups, frees my time up so I can get on with other things and still have this ticking around in the background and not be like constantly monitoring, especially on lower time frames. And all the things that that irk me, I'm sort of giving the responsibility to the robot. Things like, getting stopped out at break even, just getting, moving stops, setting stop losses too far away, setting take profits too far away. All these sort of things I am eliminating from my trading plan and giving that over to this little robot. Now, it's got the name isn't very good, but I sort of like to think of it like an Ironman. If you've ever seen Ironman, the movie from the Tony Stark from the Avengers. So this guy is, he's just a normal guy, but he's implanted himself with some sort of, microchip, and he's got the suit of the Iron Man suit that he wears. This is a bit like Iron Man, right? So you are Tony Stark, and what I've created is like the suit of armor and the implant that this guy's got. So let's go through how it works, and then at the end of it, I'm going to give you some ideas in terms of how you can potentially get something like this for your own trading. So we're on the Euro US dollar. This is a back test, so it's not the final piece of software, but look, it gives you an idea as to how it works, and I'll show you that later on, what the final piece looks like. So we're going to quickly whip through the price. So this is price chart. If I play it and pause it, you can sort of see it's moving pretty quick. What we're going to do in my system is all I need to do each day is draw some trend lines. So I'm going to draw my first one here, and I give them a certain color, and I set this color up in the robot. So this one's dark turquoise for anything above price, and for anything below price, it is going to be a goldenrod color. And we'll just do that. It's pretty easy, and they're opposite sides of each other. Dark turquoise there, goldenrod on the other side. And what you're going to see here is the first trade up the top. It's going to happen pretty quick. So if I hit play and a pause, right? So okay, let's take a step back here, and I'll walk you through what's going on. Looks like trade's been entered, stop loss has been placed. After it hit that line, and literally just nicked the line, and that's all. That's all that's happened. Oh, this has a little line here has appeared on the chart for some random reason. So I'm going to show you. We're going to walk you through what is really going on. So imagine this line is penetrated by this price wick or this price. At the time that happens, I get an alert on my phone, and we can even see the alert here in the back test if I move this up. And go into the journal, move this across, you'll see here that, where is it? This one here. So as soon as it touches the line, it pops up with this alert, sell chance, and this will be on my phone, right? So my phone gets this message, and then it tells me what market it's on. It's always going to be on the M5 chart. So I know that there's a sell chance on the Euro US dollar. Now, so that's as soon as it touches the line. After that candle closes, so it might touch the line, let's say, with 4 minutes to go. 4 minutes to go in the 5-minute bar, it touches the line, and I don't want to sit there and watch the candle for 4 minutes. So it then gives me another alert at candle close. So as soon as that candle's closed, I can then go in and have a look and see what that candle looks like. And this is important to my system. I want to see what the candle looks like to make a decision on whether or not this is something I'm going to want to trade. So assuming it is something I want to trade, which this line here wouldn't be, but for the purposes of the test, we're going to use this particular entry anyway. So assuming this was a candle that looked like a candle I wanted to trade, what the robot now does is it goes, I now need to tell it that I want to take the trade. So how do I tell the robot on my phone to take the trade? So I could go into a website and communicate with it that way and send a signal or whatever. I have heard of some more complicated ways of doing it with like Telegram and what have you, and integrating robots, but I wanted to do this pretty quickly and I didn't want to muck around with trying to work out how Telegram robots worked and all that sort of thing. So what I do is simply enter a trade. I enter a sell trade at the point that I think is, it might not be exactly when this candle closes, but it'll be pretty close to when it closes. If I like the wick, I enter the sell trade. That then tells the robot to go off and do its thing, and its thing is, let's go over here a bit. We can see here that it's not just one sell trade, and I should say I enter a sell trade for 0.01 lots. So that's the smallest you can go on my broker, and that then tells the robot to now enter a trade based on the real risk that I want to put on the table. And I use a dollar amount, and I'll show you that in a minute. And so what it does is it basically creates another trade, and then sets a stop loss for both of those trades. So I don't need to bother about putting the stop loss in. It knows what it's looking for, and it's looking for the high, in this case, of the last 3 to 5 candles. Okay, and it could be the last 20 candles, but I've just set it up to be, I think, the last 3. But this is configurable, and it might be that the first wick doesn't look good. I want to see the second one, the third one, and maybe the setup's not going to happen. I don't take the trade. Maybe it is, but the high of one of those wicks is a few candles back, and I think, okay, well, let's set the robot up so that it will take the high, and if the opportunity's gone, the opportunity's gone, and I look for the next trade. So you'll see here the stop loss is above the wick, but there's also some spread here, and you can see the spread there. It's about 1.1. It's a back test, so it's consistent in this case, and it looks at 1.1 above that and places the stop. And then it doesn't do that I haven't set it up to do that for the buy trades because we're using the bid price here in the chart. If that's too complicated for you, don't worry about it. Let's just say there's a stop put here, and we've got 2 trades running. So the first trade is essentially the dummy trade, the 0.01. We just want that off the table now that we've got our real trade on there. So let's have a look how this plays out. So I'm going to, I should mention this little line here that it's also drawn on the chart. So this line is 3 times risk, and it's not really 3 times a risk. It could be, and you can set this to whatever you want. So you could set it to 4, 5, 2, 1, whatever you want. But I'm using 3, and it's 3 times the close of the candle that gave you the entry, or the candle before you entered. So if I'm entering on the close of this candle, it's the candle before it, and it's looking at the size of that wick and going to the candle close and going, okay, that's 1.7. We're going to times that by 3 and give ourselves like 5.1 or whatever it is, and that's our 3 times the risk, even though in this case we've actually added a bit more for the the spread. So this is because I know that the reason I've done this is primarily through the back testing. Sometimes the spread's not this big on some pairs that I trade anyway. So that's what it's looking to do, is give you that target there, and that target is only looking for the first to get us out of the trade, lock in some profit, and get us basically neutral. Okay, and a good neutral as well. Sometimes that can be 30 pips away. If there's an 11 pip candle here, a wick, then or 10 pip whip, that could be 30 pips away and give you a good trade. Right, so let's carry on with this test and see what happens, and I'll show you how it all plays out. So let's keep going. I'm just going to drag that down a little bit. Okay, so what's happened now is we've got to that level there. At this point here, we touch that little line. The one here, I'll just double click on it. We've touched that. Maybe I need to zoom in a bit. We've touched that line, and we have, with our spread, obviously exited the first position of that bigger trade and the complete position of the 0.01. Okay, so this is doing a lot of stuff that would take me a lot of time to do, and I wouldn't be able to do that on my phone if it was remotely. And this was only 5 pips away, but I've locked in profit at a break even level. So you can see here I've set my break even to 1.5 pips. So once we have locked in that profit, we've moved our stop to break even, and then the next part of the trade is just discretionary. So I essentially just wait and see. Well, don't wait and see, but I've got rules and stuff that I look for a potential opportunity to exit the trade. And sometimes these can go 10, 11R, and that's gives you really good profit on 50% of the entry. So that's basically how it works, all right? And we can see here this is the buy, and I'll probably whip through that. What we need to do is we need to wait for this to end this trade, because this is a test, and I can't obviously close this trade within the test because I'm not a robot. So normally I'd just close this trade manually. So let's just see that. Okay. So that penetrated that line, but because we were in a trade, it didn't do anything. Now, we go back down. Okay, we've just penetrated that line again. We're now entering the buy trade. You see the stop is exactly on that low. We've got the spread here. We've entered the buy trade. We've got our target, and we're looking at that target. I'm going to hit play. It's too quick for me to pause it, but you can see here, in this case, once again, we exit 50%, and then it comes back and stops us out at break even. Okay, so had that gone a bit further, then we could have taken a higher profit target if price kept going in our direction. So that's it. So let's quickly walk. There are a couple of other things. So one is, every time the trade enters, or I entered my first trade, it takes a screenshot, and it places that screenshot, and I'll show you, in my files directory in MetaTrader. So I can go in and have a look at, well, actually, it places 2 screenshots. One is for the setup, and I'll double click on that. So these are all just testing trades on demo account, but it tells me when the line has been penetrated. It gives me a screenshot of that. You can see here another one, line's been penetrated, screenshot of that. And yeah, so these are screenshots based on when the line has been penetrated. Okay, so I can sort of see the setups that I may have decided not to take, and go back and have a look at those in the future. And it also gives me the entries as well, which is pretty cool. So once I decide to enter a trade, it then takes a screenshot and saves it for me. Once again, these are all like just demo trades. So I can see, like, back in time what trades worked for me and what didn't, and I can do some simple little things like putting like a W next to it for wins, and then sort by all the wins, or maybe I'll put it at the front, a win, and then I can sort by all the wins and just go through maybe at the start of a trading week and see what trades are giving me the wins, or what sort of candlestick patterns are giving me the wins and which ones aren't, and then refine my trading that way. So this is all happening behind the scenes, and it's like all hands off and just it's doing its thing. So I'm going to quickly show you through how it's where are we? How it looks on an actual. So there's 2 versions of this robot, as I've said. So this version here is the live version. So the other version was the test version for back testing. This is the live version that I've got. These are all just test trades. It's a demo account. I've just been making sure this thing is working smoothly. So what you can see down here is an on and an off function. So off means the whole thing is not working. So this robot is essentially disabled, okay? So I can just quickly look and go, okay, is that off? Yep, great. I can do whatever I want on the chart, and the robot's not going to interfere. As soon as I go on, things are starting to be active, right? So if I place if I place any trade, 0.01 or even bigger than that, then this thing's going to automatically place a trade based on the robot settings. Let's have a look at those settings actually and show you guys what it's all about under the hood. It's not a very good name. I'm sure I should probably call it Ironman trading robot or something like that. So this is a few of the settings. So yeah, your stop loss, where are you how many candles are you going to wait for that setup? So in this case, we've got 3. Take profit multiplier, so I'm looking for 3R for that first take profit. The break even multiplier, I haven't actually got that set up yet, but I probably will in the future. So this is, at the moment, it's just looking for that initial take profit before we move our break even. Then break even pips, so 1.5 pips is what we're looking to take, which will cover your commission normally. Partial exit percent, so this is that first exit after we hit the take profit multiplier of 3, so 50% is what I've got here at the moment. And then I'm risking dollars as opposed to a percentage, but like in the future I may change it to percentage. For now I just want to risk dollars. I find that easier to calculate, so I could do $3 per trade based on the stop, or I could do $30 per trade, or whatever it is, and it'll automatically calculate the entry for me of that second trade that it takes. So these are the colors that I'm these don't necessarily need to be in here, but I put them here just to remind myself what the colors are. So above the line for sells and below the line for buys. So this is the below line for buys. So this is telling me that I need to have that below price and that one above price when I'm setting my lines. That's it, guys. So look, if you are sort of thinking that this sort of approach, because look, I mean, this is very specific to how I trade, and this robot isn't going to be useful for a lot of people, but if you've got some ideas sort of swirling around your head thinking, maybe I could use this in my trading, maybe it can give me a lot more discipline as opposed to the times that I find that either I miss trades or I'm just not sticking to my rules enough, then there is a way you can actually get to the point where you can build something like this for your own trading. And look, yeah, you could go and try and get a developer to do it. And the problem with that is the developer's never going to build it exactly the way you want. Well, okay, never's a harsh word, but it's highly unlikely they're going to get it exactly to the exact specs that you want, unless you obviously really drill them hard and spend a lot of time and probably a lot of money with them. So what I've got is I have got a course that teaches you what I do. It takes 21 days to go through. By the end of it, you will be able to create something like I've created here, where you've got partial semi-automated systems, which is like this, helping your trading be a bit more disciplined, doing things like taking screenshots, saving those automatically, letting you introduce some more freedom into your trading, into your life. And on the top of that, you can do fully automated ones as well. So if you think something's fully automated, if you can automate something fully, then why not? Why not do it fully? And then you can back test it, and we go through all that as well. So guys, there's a course I've got, and what I'm going to do for you sticking around and watching this whole video is I'm going to give you a promo code that you can use. I don't know for how long, so it may not be active when you see this, depending on what year or month you see this in. So go over there and check it out. I'll put a link up as well. If not, head over to the tradingnut.com website. Look for the robot section and the do-it-yourself robots. And yeah, look, there'll be a promo code that may or may not work. And the promo code is, and I'm going to tell you it, it's Ironman, IRONMAN, all one word. So that's the promo code. If for some reason that's not working, or I decide to change it, have a look on the screen here. There will be something probably in a card that you need to click on, or something else, an annotation or something on the screen here. Go and check it out. It'll be somewhere for you to find that new promo code, if there is one. All right, guys. Look, thanks for watching the video. I wish you all the best. And yeah, there'll be a link under the video as well if you want to click that to get quick access to that page I was talking about. Okay, see you guys. Bye.